Wait. We want it recorded.
I know.
We need to
Recording
record
in
it
progress.
So I can have a transcript.
I know. Okay, good evening. I'd like to call to order our public hearing. Today's date is November the 19th. It's currently 6:30 p.m. What I'd like to do is have introductions first. If we could start with Jason.
Jason Jones.
Steve Cash.
Mary Heather Noble.
Trisha Allen.
Steve Orzek.
Laura Harthan.
Wendy Baker.
And Barbara Wilson. The purpose of tonight's evening, before I do that, is there anyone under attendee? Okay. The purpose of this evening, what I'm going to do is just read the warning that was put out. Per Article 14 of the ACSD Articles of Agreement, which was revised February 13, 2023, the ACS Board is conducting a public hearing to solicit input from community members prior to holding a board vote on whether to close Ripton Elementary School. The purpose of this hearing is to receive testimony from individuals who wish to share their views, perspectives, or concerns with the board. Each individual's testimony will be limited to 3 minutes. Questions that arise during the hearing will be recorded and addressed in a Q&A document that will be posted on the ACSD website and included in the meeting materials for the November 24th, 2025 board meeting. So at this time, I'm going to move us to the public testimony period, and we'll basically wait here and see if anyone joins us either in person or remotely. Sounds good? Mm-hmm.
Barb.
Yes, Steve.
Knowing that we're talking about the Ripton closure, could we take a quick rundown through the timeline from here, kind of the next steps in this process?
Sure. And please, anyone can correct me if I misspeak. So on the 24th, we will, as a board, potentially make a decision. So if in fact the board chooses not to take action, obviously it's going to be business as usual, to continue forward. And if the board does decide to take action, right, and the way the agenda, which was drafted the other day, basically says potential action on this, and a board member can make a motion for us to consider. Assuming that it's affirmative, we need 10 out of 13 board members. And just as a point of kind of note, since it's 13, I will kind of announce if a motion's been made that I'm going to make a vote, because we need 13. Because normally I don't vote unless it's a tiebreaker, but we need 13. I mean, we need 10 out of 13, right? So I'm going to basically include myself in that based on how the article is written. And if in fact we get 10, then what will need to happen is it needs to go before the electorate, right? So then as part of that annual meeting, and this, I believe, and this is a question I just thought of, will it be part of the Australian ballot or at the meeting? I think it's part of the Australian ballot, right? So when we send out the warning,
So have a hand up. Go ahead and finish, but we do have a hand up, so.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, Suzanne's here.
Okay. When we, basically, every year, we do a warning of the articles and that we're going to be covering. So that's when we as a board will also need to meet that deadline, to be able to, come up with the proper wording of what is going to be on the ballot for the voters. And we'll obviously, prior to that, get legal counsel to help us do that. But it'll be a discussion at a board meeting, right? And we'll approve that language like we would anything else that's going out before the electorate, right? So that's kind of that process of how that's going to work. And then after it, the vote, just like everything else related to ACSD, it's all commingled, right? So this would be voted on at the same, counted, the votes would be counted. Last year it was the day after election because of sharing the machines, and several of us helped out on that. And once we have the results, then, we'll know to go forward. It's my understanding there's like a 30-day period, Suzanne, correct? Typically after that vote for someone to contest it.
Right.
And then if that doesn't get contested, then we need to really start working with Ripton on, really moving the school back to them for $1.
If they've chosen.
If they've chosen, yeah, they have to accept it, right? Otherwise, then we sell it. Make, plans to sell it. But assuming that they have chosen, and it sounded obviously like, people were wanting to take the building back. But if they do, then we can work with them on those details. There will be in the Q&A that Mary Heather has so nicely spent time working on. There's a question about the property. And based on what's in our charter, Suzanne, found a spot for us that indicated kind of what happens to the property. And it's really the property as existed at the time of the building moving to ACSD. But all of that, needs to be worked out between the district and the town of Ripton.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you all should have a link to the answers to the questions, and I did move the questions around a little bit so there was a little more logical flow from one question to another.
It's
But
the
you
same.
all are welcome to look at.
Yeah, it's that same email that she's had sent out, I believe it was on Sunday, giving us the questions, and now you can go look at it and you can see that there's actually some really
There's some stuff
hard work of
drafted in there.
answers in there. And in some cases, it's like, we would need it to work on that, obviously.
Yeah, and I guess one of the questions that I had wondered when I was thinking about this and working on it was if the town of Ripton would put something, like they would probably have to have an election, and I would assume it would need to be after the results of ACSDs.
I think it's at
Or
the
would
same
it go
time.
concurrently?
I think it's gonna go concurrently.
They could do it concurrently, but depending upon how the town is organized, they may not need the permission of the constituents. I mean, the select board is likely empowered to purchase
gotcha.
property and so on and so forth. And so it just depends on how
Yeah.
their charter is set up and
course.
whose duties are whose,
Okay.
so that would be, something that we would work together to sort out, how they intend to work through that question
Right.
and that
Okay.
work. And we would also work to do an inventory of the items that are in the school that were purchased after the merger, and sort of what the feelings are about all those things, and the monetary value, if any, of some of those things, and if there's a discussion that needs to be had, we would work through that.
Okay. So I have in here, okay, I just have something, the town of Ripton would follow its own process of seeking approval from its electorate, so maybe that should be monitored follow its own process for
Yeah.
approving the transaction.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Since they're only spending $1, it's not,
Right.
Yeah.
really
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But it
in
does
theory, it
have,
would take on,
it does have
additional-
implications,
Mhm,
so.
for sure.
Because you now are responsible for building it into the budget.
Right.
You have to maintain this building, right? And
Yeah.
I know when the town of Shoreham got the conservatory, basically given to them, it was for a while, it was actually kind of a hardship. Because now what do you do in this old building that
Yeah.
has historical significance, right? But it needs lots of repairs and.
Yeah, it's probably a little different.
Yeah, well, this is a good situation because the
Right.
building's in good shape.
Yeah. I always think about the Maverick station, because I know it's going to be torn down at some point, but it's going to be like in 5 years.
Yes.
And there's so many times where I just would like to, like, I don't know, can't we get like the art students to just make a big mural and make it look
Yes.
inviting?
Yes.
Just for that 5-year period.
Yeah, it's like the entrance to the.
It's the entrance to the school. It
It
should
is.
be not what it is.
Yeah. Well, since the town owns it, they might actually be open to that, an
Yeah,
art
maybe I should-
project.
Suggest it. Wendy, will you be doing basketball rep again this year? When does that begin?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last training, meeting, and testing event is next week, and in Vermont, the season is, I think it begins maybe it's either the
like
week of the
right after
8th or the
Thanksgiving,
14th, and
right?
in New York, it's the other one, so it just
Mhm.
depends on how it's all stacked up, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son's starting a master's degree program. And
It's not gonna be
so,
able to.
so he's only going to officiate Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mhm.
So Thursday will be our only option together,
Mhm.
which is the point at this
Mhm.
point. I mean, I do love it, but,
Yeah.
I have some arthritis in my knee for the first time ever, so we're
Oh,
gonna
I'm
get a
sorry.
gel shot to see what we can do with that before the
Mhm.
season and see how that works.
I just had that done on my shoulder recently.
Really? Oh, no.
Was it effective?
It worked for me.
Yeah.
Or at least it buys you a few months.
That's all I need.
Pain-free. Pain-free couple of months.
Yeah, so we'll see. I love it so much. I mean, I was telling Steve earlier, it's just, it's really, I just love it. And, I remember, my sons played, like it's almost 20 years for me. So, I started when they were 10 and 12.
Mhm.
I would officiate in the AAU tournaments where they played initially. The assigners would assign me different games, but at the same tournaments.
Yeah.
So that I could learn offline, and that was back when, there weren't a lot of female officials,
Right.
especially, I officiate both boys and girls, in all divisions, and that was not the norm. So I repped men's league to learn about the rim play and, you know, like all of those things, like for so many years. And it was, I mean, it's been fun, you know, but, I do enjoy it, you know, and I think it's truly where I learned outside of, you know, your parents to like what it meant to trust a teammate. Because in officiating, you have your lanes, you know, like if it's a 2-person crew, and one person has, you know, the paint plus under the arc on the side that you're standing on. And the other person has the L, you know, everything up top above the foul line and then down the side. Yeah. And it's very tempting to think you see things in other people's areas, right? You know, it's just, that's kind of how it is. And sometimes, you know, you're not focused on your area. You're not thinking about like, okay, the ball's out here, you know, there's the secondary defender, here's where it's coming. You're not attending to that. You're looking at this over there in their area. And you're not trusting that they're going to do what they think is important out there. And so then you actually miss things internally. And so I remember having to like actually learn that, you know, and in a way that, you know, is when you have a well-oiled, like 3-person officiating crew, and you know, you tell the whole story of the game with your hands, and there's like a string that connects to all of you, because you know when the lead rotates across, you know, then the center rotates up, you know, and the trail rotates down, and so you're watching your play and you're feeling your officiating partners, you know, and there's nothing sweeter than when you make a rotation at just the right time and the ball comes into the area that is the blind spot of your other partners and you pick up the call. Because you're like, yep, I saw that, you know, and I know I'm speaking to like Greek to people who think this is entertaining at all, but you know, there's just like a sense of something beautiful when that occurs, you know, that's nice. Yeah.
Well, it's not unlike playing itself, right? When you have a really good
playing building. Itself is a little bit like that, but when I was a player, it was, I mean, the objective was to score, was to win the game, was to, you know, right, and if I had to displace somebody else to do it, well then that's fine, right, you know, you know, it was that was sort of the objective, right? You got away with everything you could in order to be able to score and win the game.
I guess I mean like, you know, building from the back, you know, a good passing rhythm, good plays, like.
Well, and
that feels pretty beautiful.
And how that connects now is when, like you know the basketball rhythms, so you know the offense. So the first thing that you do as you're taking the floor and then starting is you're like, okay, what are we running? What defense are we running? Is that wise? You know, like what's going to happen here? You know, and so you're seeing that, and so you have to make sure that you're not anticipating the foul. Because you're like, okay, that defender's out of position. The ball's coming in over here, you know, and so I know what's going to happen, which actually it's a good leadership thing too, right? And because you know you got to stay in the moment, stay with the ball, you know, and with the play, and not imagine what's going to happen, you know, like. It's dealing with coaches has been very helpful in learning to de-escalate conflict. You know, and you know I remember the when we learned at first, like, okay, so if the coach asks you a question, then answer the question. As long as it's asked respectfully, then answer the question, right? If the coach is not asking a question, then focus on the game. And there's a lot of commentary that is not a question from coaches. And come to find out, like, they're not even expecting an answer. Like, so that was a learning. Like, I thought when people are that loud and that emphatic, you know, with that much to say, that surely what they would want is for me to say, you know, I'm sorry you're upset. You know, is there something specific that I can do about this? And I remember being surprised when I talked to them, like they were jarred, like, oh, you mean you heard that? right? And so I learned that actually a lot of what people say in the heat of it is not actually meant to have you do something, which was we apply that sometimes here,
I was just thinking, is this life learning?
It really
Like,
was. I
totally.
mean,
It's like a little laboratory.
yes, it is. Yeah, it was. It's so. I mean, I just loved it, and every time, every game always starts with the Star Spangled Banner, right? Everyone, and so in every game, I imagine my sons, because my oldest son, who was a standout player, he was an undersized forward. So he went into every game thinking, I hope I'm up to this, right? Because, his
sure.
opponents under the basket they always outweighed him. And he had to, he was an underdog, right? The press used to say he would bring his lunchbox to work, like he had the sharpest elbows around. And I mean, that kid would go find a loose ball and, he left everything there. And so when I used to have games that were new to me by level, I would just imagine like, okay, this is how he felt, like in this same lineup, listening to this same, music in this same rhythm, and so that was nice. And then my oldest son officiates, so we'll get some games together, and that's pretty special. Yeah, for sure. Everyone loves that. Like whenever we're in the same gym, they always announce that, which is like kind of, everybody to know that, right? But they always announce it, and it always gets wild applause, So yeah,
That's that.
so it's fun. And this is the only evening in which you will have wanted to know all that. Because we have many minutes to spend here, so. Yeah.
So my husband and I went to the Middlebury College women's soccer NCAA tournament because they were hosting in University of Rochester, which is where both my husband and I went, and we both played soccer for U of R.
Nice.
We're coming in, and our older daughter goes to U of R. She runs track. She doesn't play soccer, but she's got a friend on the soccer team. So we decided to go and support the team. And it was really great to like sit with parents. We didn't know them, but they were so welcoming. And everyone was like, "Who's your daughter?" And we're like, "No, we're just along." But the coaches' parents were there.
Oh.
Which was so fun. It was just so funny because she used to also play for the same coach that I played for, and it's just I don't know, just interesting small world community. It was fun. U of R did not win. Middlebury won, which was also good,
right?
Yes.
No lose situation.
Important to say that because we're being taped.
Yep. It was great. Middlebury's a very good team.
Yeah.
They're a very skilled team. So it was cold, but
My son played soccer for Middlebury when I was teaching there for Jen. So I would go to those games, and the students on the field would say, "Oh, Mr. Rosenberg, are you here for me?" And I'm, "Well, no, I'm here for Middlebury." And they're like, "Yeah, there's a little bit of a, how can you? It's like, well.
Yeah. My husband actually goes to the games that I officiate, which, like this is high school basketball, right? Some of the schools are small. So, Caitlin Clark will not be on the court. Just to make sure the
Still something to
expectations,
do
right,
on
are
cold day.
clear. I mean, it's not, the games are lovely, but they rarely draw a crowd from people that are not affiliated with the teams, right? In some ways. And so, but he loves it. He picks a favorite, and he he doesn't notice me. Like there's no, I'll say, "Well, how did it go?" He's like, "I don't know. I guess fine. Nobody was yelling." And sometimes people do. Sometimes when he's in the stands, when he first, he's like, "Oh, like I didn't say anything about, who I was with."
yeah.
It's quite entertaining.
not sports, but I've judged dairy goat shows before, and brought my husband with me, and he's sitting in the crowd, and you hear like he's sitting there listening to all the parents talk shit about how they don't like how the judges place the class, and he's like,
Yeah.
just a friendly spectator at this.
Well, I don't know if I told you this or not, but when I was interviewing for this role, so there's the mini metro teams play, on Sundays, right? And so I asked the assigner, I said, so do you have somebody in Middlebury's mini metro, circuit on Sunday? And he's like, why? He said, are you wanting to do that? And I said, yeah. I said, if you put Dylan and I in it, I said, that'd be great, And so it's like, sure. Like we're overstaffed, like in that respect, like sure. So so Dylan and I came down, and I officiated that game, like as part of my interview of you. So like how do the rec teams? What is it? What are the stands like? What is that? How does it feel to be there? And of course, Dustin Hunt was one of the coaches, and then so we had I don't know 4 or 5 games or whatever it was that day, and it was the day, and then Dylan and I went and founded all the schools, and so the next weekend I was not going to be reffing anymore, right? Because I'd already had interview day, and I'm like, well, that's now some people might remember that I was there for that, and so we're not we're not gonna mix this anymore. However, Dylan was officiating, and so he's like, well, Mom, why don't you come and watch me? Like I could use some pointers and things. He's working on some things, and so he's like, I came down for you last weekend. So I'm like, darn, sure. So I come down, and then his partner got hurt, and so we were there, and somebody said, do you all like hang out together? Is that what you do? and I was like, no, but Michaela was in the gym. And so I had known Michaela from her coaching role, you know what I mean? So she was in the gym, so she saw me there, you know what I mean? And it's, I think I otherwise made it out unseen, but it's really funny. Yeah. Dustin, when Dustin realized that I would be taking the job, he immediately became self-conscious about his coaching moments, right? Like how bad was it? How bad was it? Was it okay? So he had to assuage his worries right away. Yeah. Yeah.
But my older daughter played basketball with Chris Altimos, who's a great coach. He's fantastic with the kids. And that was honestly like so much of my social life during the winter. And then when she graduated, I was like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
What do we do now?
Yeah. And I'm a little worried about that. I'm like, I don't know how much longer this will last, but it's like, okay, once it doesn't, I don't know what I gotta do.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's so nice to be in gyms.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping you from going.
True. Yeah, and I don't see very many of like our kids' games because of my schedule, so I certainly could do that. Yeah. And I mean, maybe Sean would let me run the clock or some such thing on an off night as a sub. I don't know.
I love it when Bjarke is the announcer.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's the best.
He does a great
He
job
does
with that.
a great job
football
announcing.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just puts a lot of like
Yep.
panache and
Yeah.
character into it.
He
Have you ever
does.
heard any of his like radio calls when he would do like?
No.
Oh, we used to do like play-by-play and color commentator
Oh
on
wow.
the radio. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
talent.
It's impressive because
Yeah.
like you gotta be.
It's like telling a story the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Are those broadcasts on the radio?
Football games?
The
Basketball?
basketball games? I don't think so. I don't think.
Okay. Because I have that power.
Wow.
You have the power.
So,
Most schools, I think including ours, use NHS and NFH TV. I think that's, I might not have these.
Are they still streaming? I know they were obviously during COVID, but do they
Yeah,
stream
yeah,
still?
most do still stream,
Oh,
you know. Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually really nice for families,
It's so
right?
nice.
Especially families like from away,
Yeah.
where, you know, the grandparents that don't live nearby
Yep.
and want to watch the game and all that. And
Yeah.
The
And-
work league streams on Facebook, and that's how my parents watched David
Oh,
play.
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
I might try to pick that stream up.
yeah.
Put it on TV.
NFS TV, yeah. It's on our school website. You can find it there, but
Oh, then I can just take the raw feed.
probably,
Yeah.
That would be cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna check it out now because it's been a while since I've looked at the basketball stuff.
It's been a new era that, I mean, that all that's there, which has audio and video. So, you know,
It is nice. I'm able to sometimes, like for University of Rochester, the college track team, at least the indoor, they'll stream. And it's funny, I think it's RIT does a nice job. Is it Nazareth? It just kind of sits there. Like it's like clearly they're just using a security camera.
Yeah.
It's not always like following the action.
Yeah. Well, now the joke for the officials is if you're not in the camera angle, like, you know, as for some officials who are not as quick up the court as they might have been at one time, as you're coming from the lead and, you know, to be the new trail, you know, if the kids are down there, right, because it's been a breakaway and you hope the lead is somewhere near the play,
Yeah.
and you're working to get there, and so the joke is whether you're in the camera shot or not when the foul's called, you know, when the thing happens, you know. And, yeah.
Mary Heather, is it just a link on the website, on the MUHS website?
I was just looking, so MUHS, if you go to like the athletics and activities and the teams, and I'm looking at the schedule now for the basketball, there isn't, there aren't links for viewing anything. But it might be too early too, because it hasn't started yet.
Is there one under
I can
football? Do you see the, because there should be a link for like football. It's the same vendor that does all the sports.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I see it.
What are the letters? What is it?
I found football, let's see. TV schedule. Goes to Friends of Middle Grade Football. Okay, that's right. Could I ask Sean?
I'm sure.
I think that would be great to just, at the very least, pick up and just restream to TV, so more people could see it.
You have
It
to.
just has like Arbiter. So,
Arbiter is the officiating
oh, okay.
platform.
I thought JV, I thought it said TV. That's where I got confused. This is JV.
Okay. You have to pay for a subscription, so I don't know how that might work.
Mm-hmm.
It's $10. I mean, it's not a big lift. But.
Oh, here we go. Home game live stream. So it just says Hootie, is that right? Or Huddle Fan? Powered by Huddle TV.
that they might have gone off on a different
Yeah.
platform.
But it looks like, I don't think you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You just put the app
That's a
on your
difference.
device.
Mhm.
It's nice.
Mhm. You know, the assigners, they used to come around to games, or there used to be mentors that were paid, that
Oh,
were
really?
observers who
Wow.
would come around to games, like if you were a JV official,
Mhm.
to determine whether you were ready to move up or not, you know, and now I think they just have monitors, right, with all the games going on and
Yeah.
people they're watching, and, you know, because you can see, like, all right, are
Yeah, it's
people in the
probably-
right position, and are they basically calling the right things, or what happened there? And the footage is, you know, they're, like, coaches will take footage and send it to assigners, you know, to say, okay, this wasn't good, and that wasn't good, and the other thing
Really?
wasn't good. And,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I know. Fun times.
My
It's just-
husband had that experience, well, not the coach thing, but the leveling up thing, because he is a volleyball official.
Uh-huh.
And on the thing that's like, here are our open games,
Yep.
right? They contacted Chris to be like, how do you feel about doing a college game? And so he was just like, I am technically available that day. I'm willing to do it. I have never done college before. And so he was doing a game that night, and the next day they go back and they're like, oh yeah, we watched your game last night. You're totally fine.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna go ahead
how about
and set you up for this game. Okay. He's like, I didn't realize people would do that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, at the college level in basketball, the coaches will watch your footage ahead of the game,
Mhm.
so they understand more about how you see the game.
What to
and-
anticipate, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Floyd is the assigner, you know, who works in Mount Abe. He's their business manager at Mount Abe, and he's trying to recruit me into the volleyball world. And he said, when you're done with all that running,
Yeah.
you know, you can come join us. And he said, this is all you have to do, you know, like, let me do the entire physical workout for you right now. Exactly. Yep.
That's
You're done with all that running. Okay.
It is a lot of running, though. It's a lot of running.
It is, yeah. Yeah, can be.
Mhm.
I don't like running. That's why I played varsity golf in high school. Not a lot of running in that.
No.
But I was.
But so much skill.
When I was in the middle school, when I went to Moms, I was the tiger mascot.
No way.
Which I have a VHS of.
Nice.
My mom has one.
Nice.
Which was recorded by Middlebury Community Television.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
In fact, Dick Thodall recorded that one himself. And my mom got the VHS from him.
And moms do.
That's fantastic.
I always find the mascots a little alarming. Like,
Sorry. I think it's the right word.
well, they always need to come and talk to the officials, right? As we're standing and everybody's warming up. I mean, this is like part of their pregame routine.
Oh.
And some of the things that they say are unexpected. You know, it's just like, oh. So, yeah. Got some stretching to do.
I did have a lot of fun.
I bet you did. Yeah.
I have a friend who auditioned to be Touchdown the Bear at Cornell when we were there. And she did not get it, but so at Virginia Tech, it's like a big secret who plays the Hokey Bird. Like, big secret.
Wow.
And you don't let the world know that you're the Hokey Bird until you graduate. and you wear the feet at graduation
Oh, wow.
to announce to
That's
the
how
world.
you announce?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was like, it's a big thing to be Hokie Bird at
Yes,
Virginia
it must
Tech.
be.
Right.
I had a friend who was the cardinal at Ball State, and that's the same thing. It's like a whole mystique
Right.
around it.
When I was traveling in Scotland, I bumped into an American, and we were talking about, schools and colleges, and I said I had a son. He said, I can get you into probably 30% of American colleges for free. And I said, oh, really? And he said, learn to play the bagpipes. Because no one in America knows how to play the bagpipes, and they are always looking for mascots who can play the bagpipes. And he said it paid for my education. I made that recommendation to several other people. All of them got full ride scholarships at good schools.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I might have to sit around and listen to somebody play bagpipes, but it might be worth it.
Yeah, which has got to be painful on the way into
No doubt.
well.
You might question whether it's worth it.
Yeah.
You think sitting and listening to violin?
Yeah.
Well-
Sitting and listening to bad bagpipes.
A lot of the beginning practice they do for bagpipes is just on the chanter, so it's not as bad as with all the drones.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Sorry, you've learned some things being married to a musician.
Good street knowledge. Well, that happened with my nephew, who in high school was a male cheerleader. And he was really good. I mean, he could do like this back somersaults and, like the whole thing. And I mean, the as a junior, there were colleges recruiting him, big colleges with big money to join, and he couldn't have been less interested,
Really?
I think his parents were like, couldn't we discuss this more? Like what exactly would be the bad news here?
Well, I don't know that people realize that high school sports, the highest rate of injury is in cheerleading.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to Jenny about that. But I had kids that were like, "Oh, you're a cheerleader," and they were a little disparaging. And cheerleaders would be, "You have no idea what we do." So.
Yeah, he lives in Virginia, so there was all the throwing and
Yep.
and all the big stuff that
Yep.
one does.
And really, it's not just the flyers. It's
Yeah.
the people that have to catch them.
Which he apparently did well. So.
Especially if they're in the wrong position.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Mom's is doing a gymnastics unit, or just recently did a gymnastics unit, and my son was the bottom of the pyramid.
Ouch.
He was like, they all fell on me.
Yeah.
Sorry, kiddo, you're not cut out for the top of the pyramid.
Not at this moment.
No.
So, Wendy, if you had to describe officiating, would you describe it as being a competitive activity? Because I was thinking about Mary Heather's question, it was like being on the court, which is clearly competitive.
Yes.
But I think officiating is not competitive or non-competitive.
I think there's an element of competition in that you rise up, right? You want to get the bigger, better games. I mean, I'm not in that stage of my officiating. I've already done the games I'd like to do, and so now it's a different purpose. But I think, how you look, how you do, how you are. I mean, you're rated at the end of every game. So, and you're trying to get better games than the next guy, in that way. So I think there's a trying to exceed a standard.
Mhm.
So and not all officials may have that in mind, but there is that. And there's some jockeying. There are only so many playoff spots, and so it's like, how do I get to that, and what does that look like? And so I think there's a little bit of that. There are rules people. I'm not one of them. I'm a good game manager. The rules. There's 2.3 is the officials call on the floor is right. And so I'm like, well, what others do I need to know, So, but there are people who will know every single rule in the book, and they can tell you exactly what the number is and exactly its definition, and that's how they approach the game. And so there's that whole subset, which who knows the most, in that world. So I think there is some competition in it, but it's just not the same way, there's when you're the referee, crews have a referee and an umpire, or in a 3-person crew, it's 1 referee and 2 umpires, and the referee runs the crew and is responsible for the game, and has to have the crew adjust to deliver a good game if they're not all calling consistently and all that. And so there's kind of competition for who can do that the best, and like do it well and be well thought of, as somebody who's who can run a crew well. So there's some stuff like that.
So when you sign up, are you signing up for a particular sort of position?
No.
You just sign up and you sort of figure it out when you get there based on who else is.
No, you're assigned.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so the assigner assigns the R and the U1 and the U2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thing. And so you want to be assigned the R on the high profile games.
Yeah.
Right? The Division I boys final game, our position is highly sought after.
That makes sense.
So it's like then you've arrived if that's what you are been given. So so there's some of that, that goes on, but it's not the same as players.
How long does it take to get through the certification process?
Now, it doesn't take that long. They now have it electronically. It used to be you took a class which started in like September and ended, maybe the beginning of November, and it was like every maybe week, I think, if I remember right. Now you can go through the class online, and I mean, depending upon how aware you are of basketball, you could even do it within a week, and so after you've done that, then we have somebody on the Vermont side who will take you and give you some floor time, so that way it's just run through like where you're supposed to stand, where you're supposed to be, what does that look like, and you can officiate rec league or middle school without a patch, which means you don't have to take a test. If you want to ref JV or above, then you need to have a certification. So, but then once you start reffing, they'll start you in something that's not the regular season first, like Mini Metro. So that way you're starting, you get an experienced official with you so that they can help you learn some of the basic stuff, which, it's hard to do everything right all at once, so then you grow, and then you kind of grow into the games as you show a readiness for being able to do it, and people advance at different speeds, so it doesn't take long, and maybe it's a couple $100 by the time you get your, you pay your fee for the class and so on and so forth. And you can control where you're assigned in terms of like how far away from your house, and what nights you're available to work and all of that. And, it varies. Some people I mean, when I was putting my kids through college, I would easily do 100 games a year,
Wow.
so, yeah, I mean, but I'd make, $15,000 a year doing it. So it was like, it was really helpful,
Yeah, for sure.
That is not the case now, so, so it's pretty easy.
The big question is, what do you think of automated referees?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know it's the last World Series that they're
I know.
doing
Yeah.
without automation.
Yeah.
And
Soccer games, they're always doing for offsides and handballs. So
meaning
Tennis matches.
which part of the automated referees?
any of
Like the lines where, it's
Lines are, I mean, obviously for a World Series, it's the,
balls and
balls and
strikes.
strikes, judgment call.
yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, only because it's like, I know that when we're on the court, like, we're all in the game, it's like, okay, we're the only ones inside the lines, everybody else is outside the lines, and our human error is just like your human error. We're going to show up and play the best game we can, and you're going to play the best game you can, and you know how to make a layup, but you might not make them all, and we know what a travel looks like, but we might miss one, and that's all part of the game, and that feels like that's just part of sport, in that way. I think the pressure to do those kinds of things comes from money and betting and the allowable ends of that,
agree.
and wanting to. I guess if we can't have people throwing the games, then we want to make sure that the officiating isn't a variable that you would have to impact what you think.
With soccer and handballs, I've seen a number of them where, like, is it someone moving their hand beyond their person trying to influence the ball or not?
Yeah.
There still is a fair amount of opportunity for the referee to weigh in on those, which I think is good, because if you're going to the ground and your hand is down,
Totally.
Right.
Sometimes it's just incidental.
you're
Yeah.
not trying to stop the ball necessarily. So.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, now, like all college officials all college games have a sort of a centralized official that is watching the game. So that if there's something that happens in the game that is a challenge or is a problem, then there's somebody else that can provide information to the official to say, well, from this angle, this is really what we saw, and so that official. That's the other thing, is that the official that makes the call, I mean, at least in high school ball right now in Vermont and in New York, is the only one that can change the call. So. The referee doesn't overrule the official that made the call. You can give other information, if you have definite knowledge of something, and you should, but they have to change it. And that's how it is at the college level when somebody is looking from afar. So, we lose that with automation too.
Yeah, I was at the UVM soccer game.
Oh, were you there?
Yeah, and there were some lengthy reviews.
Yeah.
I don't know all the ins and outs of that level of play, but I think each coach got so many opportunities
Challenge.
to review. But there was a number of lengthy reviews that went on.
Yeah, and you can challenge, like in basketball, in college basketball, you can challenge some things but not others, and so it's like you can challenge you can't challenge fouls, you can challenge violations, and you can challenge score rulings. So if the ball went in or not, if it was in the ring, before it came out, that kind of thing. So you can do that.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be a bunch of like goaltending, and just when is it goaltending, when is it not?
Yeah. Well, we should know that. The hard thing in Vermont is that you don't see a lot of that until you do. So that was why the men's league was helpful for me, because I could. Which was, I also learned the technical foul in men's league. Well, there was this one men's league where, I used to go every Sunday with the same partner. He and I would go, and they would, these were, doctors, lawyers, right? These are people from all walks of life, and they would show up there, and the league had a rule that if you got a technical foul, it was $100. And there would be people who would bring $1,000 to the game with the intent to spend it every Sunday. And I was just like, I was just so entertained, that this is kind of how this was rolling in their life, It was like, all right.
Interesting therapy.
It was. I know. It's like, yep. Yeah, they wouldn't jeopardize the game, but once they were clear that that was not going to be an issue, then, they just, it's just like, yeah, okay. So I can give you another one, too, if you want, So, how fast would you like to spend these? Yep.
Where does the money from those go?
It went into the, not to the officials,
Just
unfortunately, which
pick
I
the
thought
officials.
there should be a cut because, there's some emotional damage that we have. That should be accounted for, but it all went in the pot for probably like the end of the year party or some such thing, right? I'm sure it wasn't serious. Yeah. There was one time when you also learn not to run backwards. Like everybody learns that the hard way. Everyone thinks you can run backwards, right? We all run backwards, it's no problem. And then you learn the hard way. And I was doing men's league before I really truly learned that I can't run backwards, right? And the way I learned that was, I was transitioning to the new lead under the basket, and I'm watching the play come, and I am not looking at the other offensive player that is running toward me. He's not looking at me because he's also looking at the play.
Oh no.
So he plows into me, and I go backwards about 10 feet right onto the court, and he just comes by. So I landed like this, scoops up my hand, plops me forward, and on we go. It was like one continuous motion practically. I was just like, all right, I guess we won't be running backwards. So, yeah. I learned.
I forget where it was, but I remember hearing about something that if there's too many complaints about the refereeing, the remedy for those situations was the person either got banned from the grounds, or that was actually kind of where stuff started. But then to get back in, you had to referee 2 games.
Oh, really?
And that was how they sorted stuff out.
Oh, wow.
Was that like, all right, fine. If you're going to complain endlessly about the refereeing, the remedy to come back in.
I think that's a great
Great
approach.
Yeah.
I would never want to referee a game. I don't pay enough attention to the details.
Yeah. It's good though, like I'm sure if you were reffing soccer, like you have a feel for that game, right? So, it's and if you are somebody who is like we call them book officials, right? Where they know all the rules, don't have a feel for the game, it's not better. It's like if you have a feel for the game, then all right, something happened right there. I'm gonna call it a travel. I'm not sure what it was exactly, but I think we're going to go with a travel, but I know that wasn't right, and so, whereas the book people are like, where was the pivot foot? And then 3 other things have already happened by the time that goes on, so it's like, there's definitely a sweet spot in there between the art and the science.
When you can totally see the different personalities too, just some refs run a tight game, others are somewhat loose. And yeah, it's just personalities definitely come through in it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's 7:30. It's really pretty close.
Yep.
7:29 according to my phone.
Yeah,
well,
the hand is almost, by the time I accept the motion, I think
I think on
I think
the
it's
warning
fine.
it was only for 50 minutes anyways, if I
Well,
remember right.
did it not add, well, the whole, that's true.
Yeah, the actual
Yeah.
serving time.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I think we're in the clear.
I think we are. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
A second? All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay, we are.